Hey guys, how's it going? Preparing here. So there's this kind of idea that's mostly predominant in Arena because you can't set up combos, you can't set up all the fancy stuff as you can in Constructed, and it is about playing around board clears. And I mentioned it many times that there's certain things that you do to test if your opponent has board clears, and I think because it's so swingy, specifically in the game that you guys are about to see, the Paladin versus Paladin, usually the one who gets the better Consecrate off just wins straight out. It's pretty much the main strategy in the game. The strategy behind it is one, you test for it, you play around it. If they don't have it, you can do whatever you want, and if they top deck it, well, you're pretty screwed sometimes. But in the other case, there is a scenario where you realize that if they have it, you lose. But if you continue to play around it, you'll still lose. So I'm going to do a game today. I'm going to cast the game that I played a little bit earlier that kind of highlights both of these scenarios so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And, well, it was a pretty entertaining game as well. So let's get into it. So it's not right from the beginning. He opened up with a Abusive Sergeant on 1. I didn't have a 1-drop. I was thinking about using the Pyromancer here and maybe dodging a Juggle, but that was a bit optimistic. So what I instead went with here shortly after some decision making, I was thinking of just doing a Naked Pyromancer, or I was thinking of just doing a Dude. And if I do a Dude, he might be greedy. He might attack with the Juggler. If the Juggle from the creature that he plays misses, and then I can do super value, Pyromancer, coin, does 1 damage, kills the Juggler, kills the 2/1, then I get a 1/1 minion. But as it turns out, the Juggle was not in my favor. So right now I am extremely behind. One thing to note is that in this deck that I'm playing, I actually am running 3 Consecrates. I don't have any True Silvers, I don't have many other powerful cards than that, but it kind of shows this aspect. So right now, he filled his board. I could have Consecrated if I had one with a coin, but it wouldn't really have been that good, so this isn't necessarily a good test for Consecrate.
I'm gonna lose this.
He plays a Vile Teacher, the Juggle misses, so he chooses to sack both minions rather than going face, which in my opinion is the safer play. I do approve of that, even though I was a bit surprised. Usually in Arena people just go face, 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 and you end up losing that way. But as it turns out, I got 2 for 1 on the last play. Gonna get hopefully 2 for 1 in this play after I already got 1 for 1 killing the Juggler. He does a Hammer of Wrath, which is a bit surprising. I mean, instead of Hammer of Wrath, you can just attack with the 3/5 and pop a 1/1 Dude. And you have your Hammer of Wrath in hand, and considering that your opponent, me, I have so many cards, I would probably opt to do that instead. But okay, he does the Hammer play, maybe he doesn't like his hand. I do the Kodo, as most of the other ones suck, and he does a Kings. This is where I get a little bit unhappy. I also didn't have a very good day in Arena in general, but, more of that some other time. So, Sword of Justice, probably the best card in the deck. I do decide to pop the coin here. I kill the 1/1 minions, so I have fewer creatures. The creature count in these scenarios is very important. And I do the 5/5. At this point, I'm a bit weak.
Like, this guy's curve has been insane. Like 1, 2, 3, 4 cooldowns,
Saltiness.
removal. The only thing he hasn't had is True Silver, which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah, I was a bit out of it. I don't even know what a cooldown is in Hearthstone, to be honest, but stuff happens. So right now is when the main thing happens in the game. So
Okay, 3 Consecrates, baby. 3 Consecrates. Let's win
makes
this game.
a play that is absolutely
Consecrates, 3
destroyed by
Consecrates.
Consecrate. But he didn't really need to do that. He could have just, killed off his 7/5 into my 5/5 or
Yep.
something like that. And in doing so, he could just set up a board with a bunch of little 1/1s and then equality after that. And it got maybe a little bit lucky drawing the Consecrate there. So that was kind of what I would consider a mistake, where you never test for Consecrate. You play completely into it, and if they have it, you're set back a lot, or almost certainly going to lose the game. Right now, he's a bit lucky because my deck isn't actually particularly good. I go with this play because I can challenge the Ogre by playing a Stormwind or Radiator next turn when I attack with the other main that he doesn't attack with.
Alright, let's see if I can do this.
But back to the Consecrate point.
This is a pretty crazy comeback if I can pull it off.
The only reason I'm in this game at all is because he overplayed his board by a lot. Would lose the Consecrate, never tested for it, and as it so happened I didn't have it, but I drew it. But if I just had it to begin with, I'd Consecrate dude and the dude would trade for the 2-1. So in that case, he'd be really, really screwed. And I was lucky enough to draw it. Here he just plays a bunch of creatures. He still has the numerical control on the board. He still has 4 creatures to my 1, but you know, with the weapon, with a few little tricks here, there is some potential for a comeback. So I cast the dude there, the 1/1 recruit, to get buffed by the Sword of Justice, and I wanted to ping off the shield. I felt it was less important for my Stormwind to have the extra buff because...
Oh god, 3 Consecrates, 2 left, 2 left.
He died a big game.
2 Consecrates. Come on, Consecrates.
And at 6, the opponent might actually trade his whole board into it. But he decides to go for face. What happens? That's right. So at this stage, it is understandable that the opponent does go all in. So even though this play from the Innkeeper seems incorrect, to just flood the board again, it is actually correct. Because if he saved like his Raptor or like, you know, his 2/2 Mad Scientist for a later turn, he would pretty much just completely be out of the game because I would trade 1 for 1. I'd have the numerical advantage. I have the bigger creatures. I have the Stormwind. My recruits are stronger than his recruits because of the Stormwind.
Okay.
So it just steamrolled a lot of the control. So that play, even though it got completely punished, absolutely destroyed, it was technically correct. That is, you know, if you have this, I'm going to lose anyway. I'm just going to play into it and see if I can burn you down.
That's not good.
So here he does a True Silver. I don't exactly know what secret that is, but in my experience in Arena, generally people run Avenge. I don't really see the reasoning behind that. I think Avenge is generally, not always, but generally a bad card.
I actually lose the eye for an eye.
And I realized that I lose the eye for an eye as a secret here, which is kind of hilarious, but you have to keep in mind in Arena, there are cards that are arguably worse than eye for an eye, so there is a minuscule chance that you actually run into that card. And if you had it in this spot, it actually would have killed me. Eye for an eye would have beaten out Avenge, which I believe is what the secret ends up being.
Okay, now I don't die to Consecrate. I still die to Hammer.
7 life trying to survive him racing me down with weapons.
No top deck, no top deck, no top deck, no top deck.
That's gotta feel pretty good.
Okay.
He was 1 turn away from killing me. So that game was very close. I was very lucky to draw the Consecrates when I did. But it does highlight both scenarios that I talked about. It highlights the case where you can make the mistake where you don't test for a card or you don't test specifically for a board clear. You play into it when you don't have to. When they have it, you get destroyed. But the second case, that's the correct play, where if you're going to just, you know, lose the game anyway, so you just play into it, and if they have it, you lose. But if they don't have it, you have a chance of winning. The second version was correct. So I hope it was a pretty cool game. I have to say that I really get frustrated when the opposite thing happens to me in Arena, and I feel like it doesn't, you know, I don't get the favorable side of the RNG often enough. You know, maybe my view on that is a little bit skewed. Maybe I'm a little bit delusional, just to be all salty and all that. But, you know, when it does happen to me, when I'm the one getting the top decks, when I'm the one who gets lucky, oh, it feels so good. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.